Shalom there, good to see you. Now, behind me on this board, guess what are they? 10 things that you must do for you to actually be rich. And guess what? You'll be shocked. All things that you actually know them. It's not things that come out of nowhere. By the way, you all know them. That the only difference that you're having right now is that you're not disciplined. You don't follow them. You see, it's quite weird that everyone who is watching this video would love to be wealthy, would love to be rich. But when it comes to doing that, what people who ought to be rich do, you don't do it. All right? By the way, don't be that before you even share these things that are, let me just even block them. Before I even share them, let me ask a question. Do you only just watch my videos and you just say, hey, wow, wonderful video, you give me like and all those kind of, and you do nothing? Guess what? Even if you are shared the golden information out there and you don't take any action, it will become useless each and every day. I know, by the way, even if I don't even make this video, you already know what ought to be done for you to be wealthy. But anyway, maybe this one will make difference, maybe when Joseph says this. All right, by the way, guess what? If you're first time watching these videos, my name is Joseph, talk about investment, anything related to exactly that. And by the way, I usually upload a video each and every day. And if you don't want to miss any of my good videos, and listen, okay? If you don't want to miss any of my good videos, there is a small button down below there on your right. It's written subscribe. It is in black. I bet you can trace that, okay? All right. Thank you. Now hit that button. Did it just disappear? Absolutely. Then like the video. That is exactly how you get me notified whenever I upload a new good video. Doesn't cost you anything. All right. Let's get the business now. Point number one. All right. Let me tell you one secret. Go fetch or ask any individual who is out there who they created wealth by themselves. Don't engage those who inherited and all those kind of things. Okay. Get those who are called the self-made millionaires and billionaires. Okay. Ask them. What exactly did you do? They will tell you, there was a time I sacrificed. It is true. Whether now or later you have to sacrifice in life. It's okay. You are young right now. Maybe you're watching this video from a college. You are just young guy, whatever, all those kind of things. You want to be happy. It's okay. You can throw parties. There's nothing wrong. But one day you'll sacrifice. It is true when you're at your 50s, 60s and you're getting retired, but you've done nothing. That's the time you carry some placards and say it's our rights to do what, all those kinds of. So the life you have to sacrifice. No, that point number one is you have to live below your means. This is a gospel that I've been preaching each and every time, okay? Live below your means. And I know there are also people who say on the comment section, instead of living below your means, make more money instead. Okay, what if you do not have an option of making more money? The only option that you have is to live below your means. Now the surplus that you get, you invest it. You create another source of income. You know, differentiate between the motivational videos and the real information. That's where the people get it wrong. For example, say like, hey, we agreed here on this video that I'm going to be using teachers as an example. Okay, let's say you are a teacher, all right? And you actually work all the way from 9, or rather, we call it 9 to 5. But the literally is nowadays is actually 7 to 5. Okay, so you work all the way from 7 to 5. So meaning like the entire productive hours of the day, you are engaged. So there is nothing you can actually do. And then somebody tells you don't live below your means, but rather find a way of making more money. But how do you find the ways of making more money? Instead of, the only way is to live below your means. If you paid 50,000, live under 40,000 kind of lifestyle, get the 10,000 each and every month. Channel that money towards a money market fund each and every time. It is earning you interest each and every day. Now guess what happens? You're creating another source of income. Yeah, it is not making you as huge as you're making from the active income, but surely with the time you're going to reach somewhere whereby you can say, hey, I can even quit this job and I can be able to do what? To it. That is exactly what you do. That is the sure way that I can assure you can actually apply. Okay. Number two, now what do you do with the surplus that you've actually created out of you living below your means? Okay. By the way, what is living below your means? Living below your means is, okay, you know you can afford that thing, but if you were to scrutinize and find whether it is important for you having it, you just say, I really don't need it. For example, say you can buy a car and you're like, okay, yeah, I can buy a car maybe worth like 2 million, but do I really need a car worth 2 million? Not really. Okay, fine. What exactly can I do alternatively with 2 million that can actually be productive to me? I have a piece of land somewhere, I can build some rentals and can earn some income. Yeah, ding, that's a good idea. Or maybe I can take the 2 million and buy myself some bills and bonds. For example, I'm making this video, government has floated a new bond that goes for 8.5 years. Tax-free, guys. Government is looking for 70 billion Kenyan shillings. And you're anticipating around 18% or 17 point something percent. That's a good money. Come on, do something. Okay? Now, go to point number 3. Set clear and logical goals. Another reason that people usually fails on their goals is to, you set some illogical goals, very big goals that you know you cannot. Maybe let's say you get paid like 10 G's at the end of the month, and then you're setting a goal of a million bob in a year. I'm not saying it's not possible. A miracle can happen, but come on. Seriously, just be a little bit logical on what you're setting as your goal. That way you can actually go out there, and pump you and say, hey, guess what? I'm moving towards my goal. And that is exactly how you grow yourself. Come on. That is exactly what we do. Go out there, set a goal that this is a logical goal. All right. And if maybe say you have a very big goal, then subdivide it into smaller compartments. And once you achieve those smaller compartments, you congratulate yourself. You get the zeal and motivation to go achieve the other one and another one and another one. And then by the time you realize 3, 4, 10, 15 years, you've actually accumulated the entire goal. It is true. And I always tell you, if you actually want to get to see what the consistency means, go check my videos. Go check my videos. Go check my videos. You will understand what I'm talking about. Number 4, get in line with individuals on the same mission. By the way, you can have the best zeal, you can have the best sort of idea, you can have the best motivation, but the problem you have is the friends that you hang around with. They're just guys who are they are carried by the consumerism, the consumer mindset. They're just spenders. They hardly even talk about investment. It's all about football. It's all about soccer. It's all about, ladies. It's all about taking alcohol. It's all about throwing party. It's all about consumption, making yourself happy. It's all about the emotional part of you. They never share ideas like, hey, guess what? By the way, government has floated a treasury bond right now and is actually seeking 70 billion. And by the way, guess what? We're anticipating around, how about you put our 100 Gs out there and say, hey, it is what it is. Come on. These are the things that you guys are supposed to do, And if you hang around with these guys who actually talk about positive mentality, growth, development, being focused, being consistency. By the way, for example, if I may give a personal example, and I'm sorry to use myself as an example, is that whenever I maybe say I meet you and I realize you have a weakness over something, usually there's something I hate in my life is to have a weakness over something. If I realize that maybe watching football is really taking part of my life, I realize that I'm going to a place whereby I cannot control it. Then that's the time I say, hey, guess what? I do away with it. I don't like that. I don't like that. And if I realize you actually have that in sort of a weakness, then I actually shake you off and I say, hey, you're not the person if I realize you have some weaknesses, let's say in ladies and all those kind of things, then I just shake off that character, because I love to be strict, put myself in line with somebody who is actually, sort of oriented in terms of, investment in that. That is exactly what I do. Number 5 is actually be disciplined. This one does not even need any introduction. You already know what it means by being disciplined, okay? Yeah, just be disciplined. It's not a simple thing, but just be disciplined. The other one is point number whatever. Let's go to number F. Okay, now this is point number 6. Now diversify on your investment. Remember this, only a fool does what? Devours everything and also actually puts all his eggs in one basket. You are not supposed to do so. Actually, even the Bible says, because I actually borrow my investment idea from the Bible, it says, hey, you're supposed to put into 7 different investments. It's true. Diversify on where you actually put your money. If you diversify on those different areas, then you are sure, just in case one thing happens and the other thing can actually salvage you from the situation. For example, I'm pretty sure, and thank God that all of you who are watching this video, you already know what is COVID-19, and you know the repercussion that actually came with the COVID-19, and you know exactly what happened. Some of the guys who are employed, they were entrenched. Some of you guys were working certain companies right now is not in existence. Some of you guys were relying on a certain business, it collapsed. For example, you can imagine if you had taken a loan to start let's say a club business or a bar or a restaurant, and all those where social places, it was discouraged, not only in Kenya, but globally. You can just imagine what happens. You are left with a loan that you ought to pay and all those guys. You can just imagine how nasty it was during the COVID-19 era. Okay, so what does it tell you? You're supposed to diversify. If you get into the hospitality industry, get into transport industry. Can you imagine this if you had invested in hospitality industry, the transport industry, and the entertainment industry? All those areas were crushed by the COVID-19. That means that zero amount of money is actually getting in your pocket. But if you were to diversify, you are into bills, you are into bonds, you are into money market fund, you are into let's say in construction industry, you are into you get what I'm saying. So if you are into food industry, because the food businesses were not okay, not like the restaurant one. You see, separate the food businesses and the social places where people come to eat and all those kind of things. So if you can diversify in various and variety of places, then that means you stand to gain. You stand to actually be cautioned. You actually have what we call the soft landing. So if you can have a soft landing, then pick it up yourself again and getting back on track. That is the most important thing that you can ever do as far as the investment is concerned, right? Let's go to point number 7. Point number 7 says it what? Be a risk taker, all right? That is the ultimate thing that you have to possess as an individual. If you're on a mission to actually becoming wealthy, becoming rich, you must be a risk taker. I wish I can say it in a different way, but this is the only way. You must be a risk taker. If you're this kind of an individual, you are risk averted. You're kind of this guy of you're out there, and whenever an idea is sold to you, you check, counter check, confirm, counter confirm. You can even employ auditors. You're so paranoid when it comes to investment. I don't think you don't possess this kind of a thing, right? So it means that you have, for example, can you imagine this? And I was writing a certain client a business plan and a business proposal, and the client was having a very skewed view, as far as them paying a deposit for me to write them a business plan proposal. And the business plan, it was quite funny. It was about them importing I don't know, metal rods from China for construction and what have you. And I was like, wow, if you do not have the capacity to pay a deposit of a business proposal which costs some few thousands, how will you even send some millions of Kenyan shillings to China to import those metal rods and what have you? I was like, before I even sent that copy, we had to talk. I actually, we had to talk with him. I think it was high, if I'm not wrong. And I was like, see, this is not how we approach businesses. You have to have like you have to look as if you're crazy. Well, I understand you must be, the risk must be calculated, not just any risk. You wake up and just do anything. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, obviously you have to, sort of consider some aspect, but you may not get all the factors, sort of boxes ticked, and hey, guess what? Security ticked, assurance ticked, risk frame ticked. You cannot get all those kind of things. Okay, there are some of the things that you have to overlook them for you to actually be out there. Even these businesses that are doing great, they do not have all the factors right for their businesses. There are some of the things that they restrain, all right, for you to actually succeed and be able to progress. The point number 8, the positive mindset to actually to almost being delusional. Have you ever met somebody who is positive oriented to a point whereby you think like they're delusional? They tell you, there's so much, what do we call? They're so much inspired. They have a very big aspiration as far as the investment is concerned, especially when they're investing something. They really tell you much about that specific thing. It's okay, we understand that sales 101, especially when you're a new beginner. You talk much about the product rather than what you're going to do to people. But anyway, the point is that you're so much positive oriented and you have the positive mindset about that thing that you're creating. All right. So, and these guys, point of thinking like, are you delusional? Are you even? So now that's the kind of a positive mindset that you need to have. And that's why I said ought to have 2 qualities. A, risk taker. B, you have to be crazy. When I say crazy, I don't mean like you being like insane or something. I mean like you really actually you're viewing things differently from the majority. And if you can actually do that, guess what happens? You possess that quality that is ought to have for you to be wealthy in this life. Point number 10 is actually consume information, infotainment. Infotainment is obviously something that is, for example, like this channel. If you subscribe to this channel, as I told you earlier when you were starting, you actually get informed and at the same time you get entertained, as we move along. So infotainment is you watching things that actually adding value to your life. Don't just consume rumors, things that does not even help you, politicking things that just disturb your head and all those kind of things. Consume infotainment. The last one but not the least, just like a bonus, on the point number 11, is that avoid procrastination. I will do it. Just wait. I'm just waiting this the January month to end, and then immediately I'm gonna do something about myself. Yeah, I'm gonna do something. Then the January ends. January is a little bit tough. I'm just trying to let's wait February. And by the time you realize 10 years have gone, you've done nothing. It's always good to be out there studying. I remember when I was starting this YouTube channel, I had a friend of mine, should I call them? And I said, hey, you know what? How about we get on board and start making videos? I think we can do something. You have a very good English. You have some good content. I love the way you think. How about we go ahead and do it? Ooh, I am telling you the explanations that I was given. We need a camera, we need a wall, and I said, God damn it, I'm gonna go ahead and do it by myself. That's it. That's how people happens to be like procrastinate each and every time. Anyway, guys, guess what? That marks the end of my video, but don't forget, you can pick my number from the description of this specific video. Give me a call. Let's talk about business. I offer those services at a personal level for just a coffee price. For now, it's a goodbye. See you in the next one.